Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inside and Beyond podcast. I'm your host, Natalia Fomichenko. Today, we continue exploring the capabilities of human mind, and my guest today is Maria De Leon. Maria is a mind transformation master and a motivational speaker. She's based in the US, and I'm very, very happy to have you here. I've been waiting for this episode for a long time, and today we are going to discuss different transformation tools, but more specifically, transformation games as a tool to really change your mind and your life, therefore. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you for having me, Natalia. I'm very excited to be here and share some useful info on the topic.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So let's start from the beginning. What is a transformation game?
Transformational game is a very unique concept and a very popular concept these days that exists everywhere in the world. And it's very, very used tool in Eastern Europe specifically. I think Eastern Europe is all about self-transformation and some kind of personal growth and development. I think they're ahead of the game in that. So to them is like a normal thing, at least twice or three times a year to participate in one, two, or three different types of transformational games. The transformational game that I am hosting was brought from Tibet to New York City approximately 7 years ago. And it is a signature project by Evgenia Saudi. She's the one who first played herself in something initial form and sort of it in Tibet. And then she was very excited. She adopted it and she brought it here. And since then, she's been developing it and really, really putting additional finishing touches. So now it has a beginning, it has an end, it has a very important feedback part, which other tools might not include because it's extremely time consuming and energy consuming for the coach. And it is, I like to call it a workshop, transformational workshop, not transformational game, because it involves a lot of training elements. It involves elements of coaching, system solutions, behaviorism, and many, many other elements. And the name of the transformation game is The Game. The Game because it's the
The only
ultimate game
one.
to play. Yes, the
That's
only one
amazing.
of
So
that sort.
essentially, it's a coaching tool that is used by coaches like myself or yourself that help people to really transform their outlook on life. And I'm speaking from experience because I was one of the participants on your earlier games. And I really loved it because, as you said, it was a combination of literally a playground, like you are playing as if you're playing a monopoly, but you're playing for life. You have resources, you have your goals, you have a gaming dice, so you have all the equipment as if you're literally playing. But then you also have a team, you have a coach that is guiding you, and you also have a very important piece, as you mentioned before, feedback, which is more like a coaching understanding of what's going on in your life and where you might want to consider putting your resources, which was super helpful for me as well.
Thank
So
you.
let us just go maybe more into details as to how it works exactly. How can just a game transform life?
You see, nothing in life happens by chance. I think we can all agree that scientifically and any other level, whether it includes esoterics or not. And when a person comes across a psychological tool like the game, right? The person comes with a request. And usually there's three, four, five different elements of life that everybody wants to improve in. It could be finances, it could be self-realization, sometimes it's relationship, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's health. And you can attest to that. People come with one or two or three of those requests. And we always ask, what is this one thing that if you experience immediate improvement, your life will change forever? And we offer tools for immediate improvement because we help you get through the game to your goals in real life simulation. And in the end of the game, after simulating your real life goals and living through the time period that the team agrees upon, you really arrive somewhere and a lot of realizations come. Was it truly my goal? Did I really want it? Do I feel excited that now that I achieved it? Did I feel sad that I didn't achieve one of the goals? So when you enter real life, you now have full understanding what you truly want, what blocks you from getting there, what some of the energy blockers or drainers that you are currently experiencing in life, that by simply fixing those or eliminating those, you can get a boost of energy and you really can move forward and transition towards your goals. But most importantly, and this is only the game that provides up to an hour audio private feedback individually to each player. And the reason for that is it's so important. Then yes, you play, you're excited, you got some insights throughout the game, then you go home and you forget all about it, right? What is that motivation? Where does it go? Why do we work with coach for multiple sessions?
Yeah.
Why do we not just do it once and go on with our business and complete the project? Because that's the nature of humans, right? We require motivation, and self motivation sometimes is not enough. So when the player receives the feedback, it's a combination of coaching and mentorship. And yes, there is a difference, as you know, because you
Hmm.
are an amazing coach yourself. And when the person receives the feedback, what happens? Now everything is clear. Now there is a step by step instruction on what to do next or what not to do. And usually there's just one recommendation that if you just do that and nothing else, your life will transform. Your life will truly start turning towards whatever that is that you're working towards.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the key word that you mentioned is a simulation. So you literally simulate your future experience. And it's not about sort of manifesting or envisioning stuff and then waiting for it to happen while sitting on the sofa. It's a different experience. It's more like really putting an effort and putting your goals out there and then seeing how those goals are playing out and how you get either excited or not about the way how the game flows tells you so much about the importance of those goals to you, about the direction that you're heading. If you get disappointed about the course of the game, that you really kind of feel that that's important to you. Like, for instance, when I was playing a game, I had an objective. There are multiple objectives, and I had one objective that was my particularly favorite, and it was just not really coming out, and the game was finishing, and I was so frustrated that I didn't get this objective. But then it actually has shown me that this is something that is very important to me, and if I don't really think how I can organize my life differently, then I probably have less chances of achieving it. But this realization actually made me more motivated in achieving this goal. So that's just one of the examples. And then you also mentioned the difference between coaching and mentoring, and I just wanted to clarify it for listeners. So essentially, coaching is working with you, but not advising you on anything. It's guiding you through the journey, it's asking you the right questions, it's helping you to look on your problem or challenge from different perspectives, but it's not about imposing any additional advice on you or telling you what to do. Whereas mentoring, it's more advising from experience. You can have a career mentor who has much more experience than yourself, and then they can advise you some things, but it's a completely different thing than coaching. So game, in this sense, combines these two elements.
And I think the actual course of the game is coaching, because there's a safe platform for the players, for the participants to simulate their life, to do what they want to do, test out ideas safely without any possible danger to it. And what does the host do? The host stays quiet the entire time. The host
That's
does not say a word. And only in the feedback portion, when the game is over and the simulation process has been complete, that's when the host adds the mentoring technique and truly starts guiding and putting the puzzle together of everything the host has seen, has heard, has noticed, has felt, right? Because in the end of the day, the field of the game shows everything. It's not magic, it's not anything out of this world. It's simply an informational field, a scientific informational field that we all open together. So we tap into multitude of possibilities. We tap to that information that is out there in the open for everyone to grab. And it's also, we bounce off each other because we act, the game is so fast. It's 3 hours, but it's so fast that we don't have time to pretend to be someone we are not. So we start acting exactly the way we act in real life, the way we react to events that we like, the way we react to people or events that we don't like. And that is also important for the host to pay attention to, because it also becomes part of the feedback.
Yeah, yeah. It's also very important to have those other team members, because I remember when they were telling about, their thoughts or their life stories, it resonated a lot with me. So it almost like we were all experiencing different things, but similarly, which has opened my mind about a lot of things and really taught me a lot of things that I didn't really consider before, which was also kind of fascinating and felt almost magical. And just to reiterate, in terms of the information sort of that we are playing, let's call it playing in the game, this information are normally the aspects of your life, like the goals that you have, the resources that you have, the business ideas that you might want to explore, or the limitations that you have. So essentially each step of the game is almost like a little exercise that prompts you to think. Like, for instance, if you step on limitation points, then it prompts you to think, okay, what could be my limitations at that moment? And this instant of kind of having to think about something deep at this very instance makes you really come up with insights that you didn't really think about before. And so do other team members, which makes it even more exciting and again almost magical, because you kind of share this information and you're almost amazed at how everything can sort of come together and be so aligned.
And this is my favorite thing about universe. Everything is connected and everything is so simple. So if we just stop complicating things and truly focus on our own progress and our own development and utilize self-love and all the tools available out there for transformation, the true magic happens. The work is not the magic. The results are magic. And this is what, again, is very similar to coaching versus the game, is that we return the responsibility back to the client, right? Back to the player. If anyone asks me, what do I do? Should I take this next step? Should I not? My answer is, what do you want to do, right?
Yeah, of
Just like
course.
in coaching, the clients sometimes ask, I need an advice. In reality, they really don't. They have all the answers inside here or here. The answers are always within us. They say, if you have a question, the answer is already within you. It's just sometimes tapping into that prohibited zone, in that zone that's outside of your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable, it's scary, and sometimes it's extremely unpleasant, but it's important to know where you stand on every single item in your life, or the most important items in your life, to truly understand which direction to go to be most productive, to be the happiest in life, to be the healthiest in life. And for that, all these tools exist, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, someone, I don't remember the name, but once I've heard this saying that you already have what you need to have everything you want. So I think that summarizes pretty much the idea of the game. You also mentioned that it's key to have or to utilize self love in order to achieve anything in your life. How does this transformation tool or anything else help with that? Because in my experience working with clients, they tell me that it's such an elusive concept. Everyone says that you need to love yourself, but then what if I can? What if I don't even know if I love myself? What if I constantly think that yes, I'm okay, but there's always someone better, faster, etc. So what is your approach? I can tell about my approach a bit later, but what would be your approach when working with clients like that?
So, first of all, I feel like concept of self-love is much misunderstood, especially growing up in Eastern Europe, where you write a letter to somebody, and the first is the name of the country, then the city, then the street, and your name goes last. That I think that this should tell you everything about how we've been brought up. That it's everyone else goes first, and then you. So living
Yeah.
in America now, it's been about 20 years here. My concept and perspective on that has changed. And motherhood actually helped me a bit with that, because when you are responsible for another human being inside your body, you automatically have to care for your body in order to care for them. And I think that was probably the introduction, that intro much needed into self love for me. And I understood it's nothing about being egoistic or selfish. It's simply necessity, that to be your best self before you can pour into other people's cups. Instead of trying to squeeze the last drop out of you and realizing why you lack in resource, it's filling yourself first and then sharing from the overflow. So when clients come over, it's one of the first things that I pay attention to, right? Where they stand on that scale, because you can scale yourself on self-love. Do you love yourself? And for me, it's not about having that piece of chocolate at night because you had a rough day, or skipping gym and just watching a movie instead, wrapped in a blanket. That's more of depression, not self-love. Self-love for me is being a parent to yourself, maybe the parent that your parents have not been to you when you were a child, and making tough decisions for your benefit, just like the decisions I make for my daughter that she as a child will not make for herself. And that to me is self love 101, when you start making choices for yourself that guarantee a better future, healthier body, healthier mind. And yes, that includes boundaries. And yes, that includes being disliked by other people, because you might not be a team player, or you might not want to do what suits their needs. And that's okay, but it takes time to get there. I think we're all on a constant journey on that scale, and the scale doesn't have any numbers. It just has the beginning point, and we're all traveling along the way, and sometimes we step back, sometimes we step forward. But what does self-love mean to you?
You are your most important asset and resource that you ever going to get in life. And again, to this point that we already have what we need to get what we want, it's in our hands essentially to change anything that we dislike about life, but we will not be able to do it from anyone else's body. So we almost owe it to ourselves to really respect the fact that we are the only person who we will be with for the entire duration of our life, who is the only one who we are going to die in the same day. So this realization kind of helps you to a little bit, reassess the way how you treat yourself, and then kind of grasp this concept of self-love.
I love it. And I think, as you were speaking, the last sentence, another thing that came to my mind, we're the only ones that owe ourselves anything. There's a lot
Exactly.
of people that have entitlement mentality, how it's everyone else to blame, it's everyone else owes them something, but they don't really want to do the work to transform, to be better. And that goes back to, you know, to humans having meta programs. We all have meta programs, and it comes from childhood, it comes from previous generations, it comes from sometimes copying, you know, who we saw as we were growing up, who we admired, or sometimes it's just who we are. That's how we were born. That's our personality. And it is also helpful to assist the players with identifying those meta programs so they know that what they have and how to deal with it. Sometimes it's knowing yourself, which is also part of self-love journey, right? Knowing yourself better and learning who you are and learning to love yourself as is. It's a huge step towards happiness. Huge,
Yep.
because that stops people pleasing, that stops unnecessary fears, that starts some limiting beliefs about money, self-worth, sex, relationships, and all of the above.
Yeah, I guess that's the key, what you've just said, learning, which promotes your awareness about the stuff that is going on in your life, in yourself, in your relationship towards yourself and others. And the more you aware about what's going on, the more you have the power to change something and to grow as the person by using all of those tools that we've discussed today, or just without them. But the key thing is awareness, and those tools help you to build this awareness. But without awareness, you're really robbing yourself from a chance to get to know yourself better, love yourself, and create the ultimate life that you desire. Thank you so much, Marie. It was a really interesting conversation. I hope that the listeners learned a lot about what transformational game is, and I hope that they get inspired to try it, because I really think that among different methods and tools out there, it's important to find the ones that work for you. And this might work for some people, might not work as well for others, but it's important to always keep trying, because that's how you learn, and that's what promotes your awareness about your life.
Thank you so much for having me. And guys, to all that listening out there, get yourself a coach, sign up for a transformational game, use whatever tools at your disposal, because you only have one life. And investing in yourself, it's probably the biggest investment. And speaking as an investor in real estate, can assure you investing in yourself should always come first. Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you.